Anyway, moving on to stuff we're here for today. We've got actually some other Land Rovers and Ford Range to look at in a minute. But also they've put this down, which is an old thing, an old buzzard, an old Suzuki Vitara. Very, very low mileage. Once we've got them sorted and I can de-stress, because I don't know if you can tell from the tone of my voice, I am a little bit stressed. Straight around the car, had a look at it, loved the price, kit the wheels, I'll take it. Right, before we get into today's video, we have got less than 3 days to roll until the conclusion of the first ever Car UK Raffle, where you can win this stunning 1993 classic Rover Mini Cooper 1.3 injection model. Showing 59,000 miles of service history, it is a really nice example, which we actually picked up from a local classic car auction just a few weeks ago. Now we're making some improvements on this vehicle, which you'll see in an update video in a few days' time, but the only way you can get involved to win this fantastic Mini Cooper for just the cost of £2 is by using the link in the description and getting hold of your tickets. We've also got lots of ticket bundles on offer as well, as you can see on screen now. So you can buy one ticket for £2, or you can buy bundle offers, so the more tickets you buy, you will get additional free tickets, and remember, the more tickets you have, the more chance you have of winning. There's also alternative prizes as well, so if you don't want the Mini Cooper, there is also an alternative £3,000 in cash available, and also another car. You can also decide to choose this stunning 1991 NISSAN MICRA K10 model, which also comes with additional £1,000 in cash as well. So you've got 3 great prizes there on offer you can choose if you are the lucky winner, but also remember as well, getting involved will also help out charity. We are going to be supporting Cancer Research UK and also some local charities here where I'm based in Crewe, so we're also helping out lots of good causes on the back of it. Don't forget as well, there's also lots of sub prizes. You'll be able to win diagnostic machines and also jump packs as well. But to get involved, you've literally got to get in the link description and get your tickets now, because you've only got a few days remaining. You can also find the QR code here on the screen now, so you can also scan that and that will take you straight over to Raffle, who are hosting the Raffle, independent company who will make sure it's all safe, and also as well it is guaranteed prizes. So this raffle will be drawn and those prizes are guaranteed as well. So whoever the lucky winner is, you will win one of those 3 major prizes. So make sure you get involved. We've only got a few days left. Click on that link or use that QR code and get your tickets today. Morning all, welcome back to the Car UK channel. You joined me this morning as we are on the road, going to go to another auction. We're going to go to ASTON BARCLAY this morning. We'll also be online as well, doing some bidding at another auction. We've got to buy some stock today, mainly for another customer of mine. Not really looking to buy much for myself, maybe the odd C1, but that's pretty much it, because at the moment we've actually got quite a lot of cars that need sorting. So I'm not really looking to buy too much for myself at the moment, because we've got plenty to be getting on with in the yard, and we've got no space left in the yard because it's full of practically sold cars and stuff we've not managed to get round to, so we need to get that sorted. Anyway, we're on the road today, get ourselves in the mighty Igo, get ourselves down to ASTON BARCLAY. Right, we're here. Get ourselves logged in a sec and we'll get our catalogue. Although I have just noticed in the background a Humber Sceptre. It's a rare old sight at the car auction. I'm amazed if that's going through. Probably the best car here. Sneak round the side today, I think, because I think man on gate is not in today. So we'll just sneak round the back, save us having to have an argument with him. Right, first one's on my list today. Well, I was going to look at this SsangYong for a customer of mine, but it's turned out it's not 4-wheel drive, which is a shame because it's quite cheap. Little diesel. They like a SsangYong, but yeah, it's 2-wheel drive, so they don't want that. That's no good. We've got this little 107, which is for me. Obviously, I'd buy these all day long. This has got a bit of lack appeal on the front bumper, as usual. Typical red, and then the rear all right. What's up, bud?
Prices.
No prices.
We're needing no prices now.
No, it's not prices. No, it's an auction.
Auction.
Yeah. And then right bumper's actually alright, to be fair. It's just the front, which is quite rare, because usually they come in pairs. Oh no, spoke too soon. Not lack appeal, but just a bit on there, so you ended up putting the corner of the bumper. That isn't too bad. A bit cheaper than I've been paying the whole lot. So that's not too bad, that, on 11 plates. So we've done low miles, this about 50 odd thousand. It's got a marker down on the vehicle tyres and stuff, but I suspect it for what it is. So we'll have that one on the list for me. Mileage on it's probably going to help with the price. Anyway, moving on to stuff we're here for today. We've got actually some other Land Rovers and Ford Range to look at in a minute. But also they've put this down, which is an old thing, an old buzzard, an old Suzuki Vitara. Very, very low mileage. Diesel, 2 litre. done 58,000 miles. I have been underneath it already, just to make sure it isn't rotten, because most of these are rotten away. And this one's actually doesn't look too bad. A few little marks on the plastics, but overall, for an old car, it's alright. And say, where my customer sends these for four-wheel drive things, this is be a proper little tool for someone. Years of life left in it. It's got a few little marks like on the plastics, but it is a 25-year-old car, so as expected. It's not going to go through a lot. It's probably going to do £500 to £1,000, and I think they're in that sort of territory. So I've had a quick mark that one down. And the other two really they're interested in is a Ranger, which is over there, I've just seen it, and a Range Rover Sport as well. So I should just show you this Ranger. Marker down in vehicle interior, done 83,000. Can't actually see what's wrong with the interior. I had a look a minute ago. It looks really nice. Very, very straight car. Good signs like underseal previously. Cart springs are new. This has been looked after. Generally, bodywork wise, it's very, very good. The only thing I found was a scratch there, which is actually, I can't even get my nail in it, it's very light. I'm not saying it'll buff out, but I think you get away with what we call the rub and buff technique, which is you basically get some paint matched to this colour, you rub it in and then buff it off. Something I've learned from another channel. But that's a smart car, that. Tyres are decent, no lift on the discs or anything like that. That's going to do all its money, because that is a proper clean Ranger. Bear in mind, that's 10 years old and they're usually battered these. That's a not bad example, and it's a local car as well from Rain Agents. Got a strong bid. There'll have to be some strong bids on that to get that one today. Right, found the Land Rover. 12 plate. It's not too bad this. One's wheels refurbing. Very similar to that 11 plate one we saw the other week. Motor Auctions Group. Wheels are just a bit bitty. Wants new sensors. Bit of a buff over in places. A few little smart repairs. A few scuffs here, but they'll come out. But it is a 12 plate. Done 107. 1,000 miles. Wants a tyre. You can see their tyre's flat as a kipper. Just the wheels really let it down. Steps are reasonably okay. Probably would change them, but back cleaned up, not broken. Smart repair on the bumper there. Most of that actually would come out, but it's probably worth just getting painted because there is a few little scratches in there as well, and that scuff. But it's got a good report on it, so the mechanicals of it are claimed to be okay. So you've got a good base there. The bodywork is nothing on this. That doesn't phase us. It's when you have to deal with silly things like air suspension faults on these, or obviously engine issues, maybe like rocker cover gaskets that go on, or rocker covers that leak and they go into limp mode and they're just a nightmare to do. You have to take the body off and stuff. Well, you're better off just taking the body off to do stuff like that on all of these. The turbos, body off, rockers, gasket covers, body off. It can just be a pig to work on. We'll get that down anyway. Very, very cheap car for what it is. We'll see. Right, well, I'm mainly today here for a customer of mine. They say they have 4 down on the list, now down to 3. But I think we've got a good chance of winning at least maybe 1 or 2 of them. So we'll see how we get on there. If we can come away with a couple of cars for them, I'll be over the moon. The other thing I need to be getting on with as well today is just a bit of multitasking. Again, very difficult for me. Because I've got the 107 here, the red one, need to try and buy. And some other C1s that are at another auction running at the same time, so I'm going to have to do a bit of multitasking and see if I can win those. I'll let you know how I get on with them, and then we'll get ourselves back to the unit and see what's going on there, because we've got, well, a full yard and we've got a lot of cars going out and we're short staffed, so it's getting a bit stressful back there. So we'll talk about that later on. Anyhow, I'll catch up with you in a bit, because I can't do any filming unfortunately in the auction hall at the moment here, but I'll let you know how I get on just in a few seconds time. Right, so the auction is, well, it's nearly finished. It's been a long one today. A good hour and a half auction. There's quite a lot in here at Aston BARCLAY Pre-Eve. It's makes a change. It's been a bit quiet over the last few months, but seems to have picked up quite a bit, and they've got a few cars in. So unfortunately, most of the cars I was bidding on today were actually at the end, so I've had to stay here a lot longer than I probably want to. But nonetheless, we've come away with actually 4 cars today. 2 for myself and 2 for my customer. Now, start off with my customer's cars. I actually had 4 on my list today, but we dwindled that down to 3 because one of them, to be honest with you, the SsangYong at the beginning, that was a 2-wheel drive, so that was dismissed because we don't buy 2-wheel drive vehicles. He only buys 4-wheel drives. So we got down to 3. The Suzuki Vitara, I'll tell you about that quickly. It looked the part, solid underneath, Started up, absolute bag of spanners, jump start needed, ABS light on, power steering was all over the place and heavy and horrible. So I decided, you know what, we ain't bothering with it, and it did maximum bid anyway, so we wouldn't have won the car even if it'd been a lot better condition than it actually was. So I'm quite glad we've dismissed that one, because that probably would have been a headache. But the Ford Ranger, we have got provisional on that, and I expect we'll win that, because we're only literally probably a couple of £100 away from where we should be on it. And we also won as well the Range Rover as well towards the end. That was one of the last few cars going through. £3,300 paid, which I'm really pleased about, because that is under the max bid my customer had, which means we've got a bit of extra money to play with in order to make sure it's right for him when it goes out. Vehicles that I purchased, well, there was 107 red. That's really the only thing that I was interested in today. There was quite a lot in there, in fairness, and there was a lot of cheap stuff, and I could have easily bought 7 or 8 today. It's one of those days, but we have got hardly any spaces. I'll show you later on, in a few moments actually, when we get back to the pitch. So really, I only want stuff that I know that, like I said, I'd buy every day of the week, and we just back them up because we know we can sell them straight away. Like C1s and Igos are like our best sellers. So I just stayed to that today, and we won the red one. I had to give all the money for it. I had to give £1,000. Bear in mind, these front bumper painting and a little bit of a corner, but we sell them all day long, so it's not an issue to us. I'm having to accept the fact now that they come really competitive to buy, those little C1s and Igos. So it's not a bargain, but it's another one coming through the pipeline, which we'll sell, I'm sure, in the next week or so. And another car I won actually was another red car, which I'm never a fan of red cars, but it was very cheap. It was actually lot number 1. Now, you didn't actually see the car. I can describe it to you. It was a 2014 plate Seat Ibiza in red, 1.4 petrol. Engine, which isn't a bad little engine for what it is. Less problematic than the 1.2. I'd say the 1.2 drives a bit better, but the 1.4, a bit of an older style engine, but it's a good old lump, and he said it doesn't give too many issues. And I actually only picked it up for like £1,500, which is way, way under book. Does need a little bit of tender loving care to the interior, particularly on the back, but I can make that into a car, and crucially, it doesn't need any paint, which is good, because I'm sick of doing paint at the moment. We've got too much stuff that needs paint. So that's good. We can get that picked up, try and get that fixed up and on sale, because we do really well with Ibifas. They are extremely good news. We get asked for Polos a lot all the time, but actually what you'll find is that the Polos, because they're quite expensive to buy, particularly in the sort of second-hand market, they hold the money really well. A Polo buyer you can easily turn into a Ibiza buyer, because they're very similar cars, and I actually think the Ibiza not only is slightly cheaper, you get a newer car, and it's practically the same vehicle anyway, but we look a lot nicer. So it's very easy to turn those customers, particularly young drivers, into Ibiza owners. So we'll get them boxed off over the next few days and get them back on site, but we need to get back to site now because, well, the yard is, like I said, absolutely full. We've got cars going out everywhere. So I'll go through what we've got to get sorted over the next 24, 48 hours and how we're going to try and make some room in so we can try and start to get some more cars back on sale and hopefully have a good rest of March and crucially make some space we're going to need to get this stock on board. Right, back at the unit now. It is later on in the day, I won't lie to you. I came back and it's been absolutely manic since we got back here. We have got so much we need to get done, and we also needed to make some space very, very imminently because, well, we had some cars land that which were a bit unexpected, but nonetheless we've had to make some room. But let me show you now, before it goes dark, what has been happening here at the car pitch, what we've been selling and what we need to try and get out, and what the problems we've been facing really over the last few days. So I'll show you around. I mean, at the moment what we've got is, that's a sold car, the one we sold. We've got basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars I've got on sale technically. No, sorry, 7 cars on sale. Sorry, 6 cars on sale. And that is basically the Twingo, which is not really finished. The Corsa, the little C1. I've got the Suzuki Celerio, and I've got a white i10 and a Clio. That's pretty much it. We're not being able to get anything really on sale this week because we've just been so busy with these sold cars. For instance, like this Megane, this is going out on Saturday, absolutely covered in shite, but it's literally having the, well, literally everything's done on it. It's had all the cam belt done on it, with all the cam belt and water pump on it, as you can see. We've done, mirror caps have been painted, they're coming back tomorrow, they're just in the oven at the moment, so they've been done. We've had the wheels repainted as well, freshened up. We just need to give it basically a bloody good clean tomorrow, get the caps on, and that can go out. That was a little cheapy, that. It was £3.5 grand. The only thing I forgot to do on this, which is where I've let myself down this week, is bloody forgot to get the key card man out, because it's got one of these, the key cards, it's only got one, and I agreed with the customer I'll get him a second one, and I forgot about it, so I'm going to have to try and run around tomorrow and get that sorted. This is another job I don't really need to be doing, but it's just one of those things, I've forgotten about it. Other sold cars, these are all, I'll talk about them later on, they're stuff we're working on next week. Focus automatic, cam belt and water pump's been already done on that one actually, so that wasn't too bad, but we had to do rucker servicing on it, and filters and oils and stuff. Had to underseal it all underneath. It needed a few other bits as well. So we had to get that all done and dusted, and then that threw up a clock fault as well, so I had to go off to a place in Stoke, because we're not using ECU test anymore because they are absolutely shocking and messed us around. So I say we found someone else locally, and he sorted that out for us. He was brilliant, did it in like an hour, so really good. Anyone in the Longton area or Stoke-on-Trent area wants someone who does also electronics and dash stuff and modules and stuff, Dashmaster, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So that was sorted, but that's going out Saturday. C-Max, that's going out Saturday, and that's also got to be delivered as well, all the way down to London, or North London. So it's Stevenage that's going to. So that's the guy's paying obviously for that to be done, because he wouldn't usually deliver it, but we are organising that for him. That again, they needed a cam belt and water pump. It seems to be cam belt and water pump week this week. That has been done, as you can see here. That one got sorted and all serviced up, all new brakes on it as well. Just basically just a few little bits underneath, and tyres. Well, actually the tyres are all decent on this. It wasn't this one we had to put tyres on, but they were all decent. It was the McGann actually. I had to put a full set of tyres on that, and that hit me hard. So that one got done anyway. So that's the C-Max going out. We've got the McGann going out. We've got the Focus going out. We've got the Duke as well going out. That's back as well. That's had all the new plastic trims done on it. These are all battered. Remember, it has all self tappers in, so they've all been replaced. Wheels have been done. Nearly cleaning up because I've still got tyre soap on them, but they've all been powder coated, so they've been done. It's also had as well some paint done on this corner, because it's previous categorised car, so it's previous Cat D. New customer was aware of that. That's why it was £1,000 cheaper, but it was just a bit untidy down here. It's just all chipped and that, so I've had it all flicked in and just made it a bit smarter. Didn't cost a lot, but it's brightened it up. We've got a cap on there. We're going to do. It's got to do last little touch-ins now. Got to do a door hinges on this in the morning because the door hinges have dropped, typical Nissan. So I've ordered two new ones of those from Nissan and painted them earlier on, so they're going on, and that's going out as well. And then another car which we're now racing to sort out because we've been so busy, we're not been able to get this on as quick as we like. It's had a brief appearance on the ramp and then come off, and it's going back on again. Is this 107, which doesn't actually not 107, so it won't need much. Thankfully it doesn't need a clutch, so that's good, but it does need the usual stuff. So we started taking all the backs apart, like all the seals out. We're taking all the lights out, which we're just doing in a minute. So the seals, we'll take all them out, redo those, and then we'll just tidy up a couple of wheels on tidying up, which we'll do here. I've got some new centre caps for them as well, which are in there somewhere. I did buy some, so tidy them up, and that's really it. Just the usual sort of servicing been done. It wants undersealing on the sill, redoing at the bottom because it's just starting to go a bit chippy. So just underseal it now. It's a little bit high on the miles, but it was a cheap one. But that is going to need to go out as well, ideally tomorrow. So we really are pushing it there, but if not, we can deliver it Saturday. Chap has been really decent with us. But we need to get that raced and boxed off, but that won't cause too many issues. So long as it doesn't need a clutch or a blow motor, these usually are a doddle to get done same day, so we can turn them around pretty quick. So we say we've got 4 or 5 there we've got going out, and I say just at the moment, unfortunately, the ones we've sold recently, I've just needed a little bit more work than average, and that's just how the dice have rolled, I'm afraid. But there we are. But nonetheless, once we've got them sorted and I can de-stress, because I don't know if you can tell from the tone of my voice, I am a little bit stressed, we can then focus on the remaining sold cars. Picasso, guy walked in off the street and bought that locally. I was quite amazed actually how quick he was. He was just literally straight around the car, had a look at it, loved the price, kicked the wheels, I'll take it. So that was a nice one, but he's not in any rush with that, and actually, to be fair, that doesn't need hardly anything doing to it, so that is not too much to worry about. We'll get that boxed off next week anyway, so we don't fall behind, because it doesn't need a lot, so most of it's been done. The other car which is going out, which is actually, sorry, it's in next door's unit, so you can't see it, is an Alfa Romeo Mito, which is going out Tuesday. We've got to sort that out, and then that's having a cam belt done as well. So about cam belt week, and water pumps and mounts and all sorts done to it. So we've got to get that done. But once we've done them, we can then focus on new stock. New stock we've got coming in, Seat Ibiza. This has just landed. 11 plate Ibiza 1.4 petrol. It's a copper model. That'll be going up for sale hopefully next week. We've got to get that through the mix. I bought that from a local car auction. Drives really well in white. We could sell these all day long. So that'll be going on sale. It's done 97,000 miles. It's got 14 service stamps in the book, so it's a real proper car. So we just need to get that finished. Wants a little bit of a dent man on it, just a few little bits I've seen on the door. But other than that, ain't too bad. So we can get that on sale soon. Other things I'm working on, KA as well. I've got this KA, which I bought actually on a walk-in, so a private walk-in. Customer came in, recommended to us, and we said we bought this one. 12 plate, low miles, only done 65,000, something like that. In the white, Didn't have very nice wheel trims on it. I've just replaced them because it had horrible black wheel trims on. So I've just changed them for some just generic ones we had lying round for now. But other than that, it wants a, well, it's got a heat shield rattle underneath, which is really annoying. So I've got to get it on the ramp. I'm going to put a new set of coil pack and leads on because it had a little bit of a tiny stutter when I started it this morning, but then disappeared. So it's probably never had a set on it in its life. So we'll just change them because they're only like 50 quid for the whole set. And then the usual thing you get on these KA Mark IIs is the seat handles are missing, and they're really expensive. They're about 70 quid, whereas on the Fiat 500s, which is what this car's loosely based on, they're about 9.99. But no one makes them aftermarkets. But other than that, it's all right. Doesn't need any paint. It's a clean car, low mileage, and it will sell. It's an ideal little first car, and they're all right, these, to be fair. They're based on the 500. They're not as popular, but they do sell, and you probably get a slightly newer KA than you would do for 500 money. And say usually women who buy them, to be fair. It's very rare we get a lad on one, although I have sold one to a lad. Other things I've got to get sorted out is mind this course we've just ripped to bits earlier on. We need to scrap that on Monday morning, get rid of it. It's now an eyesore. Is a Astra, blue Astra. I've got a few Astras. This is the Elite one with all the leather in. I need to get that in the workshop and done. That needs quite a bit doing to it. It's just like silly things like a typical 1.6 Astra. The rock cover's leaking, so we've got a brand new box, put it on. The oil cooler's leaking. We've got brand new ones in stock, we just do them. We'll put a new coil pack in while we're there because we've got all them anyway. Just general servicing, little leaks like that. I think the water pump's leaking as well, so we're going to end up putting a belt and pump on it. I'm pretty sure that's the one, although I have lost track of how many Astras I've got. So we've got to get them done, and then we can get that on sale. Because it is actually, I know it's buried in a corner at the moment and doesn't look very nice, but when it's actually out and cleaned up, it is a very, very nice car, very bright, and we will sell that pretty easy. So we're going to get that sorted. In case anyone's wondering what's under the sheet, it is the K10 MICRA. People won't keep asking me, what's under the sheet? The MICRA. So that'll be available from the draw on Monday as an alternative prize. Meanwhile, down here, we've still got stuff we have not even looked at. DS3's just landed the other day. I mentioned this in the last video. This isn't actually that bad, this. Diesel. Got it quite cheap from an auction. I think I got it cheap because it does need a clutch, and it was blatantly obvious it needed a clutch. But I'm quite happy with it. It needs minimalist amount of paint. I think it just wants a touching, really. I don't think it actually needs painting. I think it's a bit down the corner here, but we'll make a decision on that when we wash it and clean it up. But definitely needs a clutch. We're going to put a clutch in it. So 1.6 diesel. I think it's only done about 70 or 80,000 miles. Needs a headlight because there is a goldfish currently living in there. So we're going to get him out and put a new one in there. Doesn't need any wheels doing. It's actually a real straight thing. Now, I don't mind a red car, but unfortunately they're just not big sellers, or fast sellers, shall we say. And you've got two bands of people who just don't like red cars, full stop. And then we have another band of customers who basically don't like red because they support Everton, or they support Man City, for example, or they support Chelsea. So they just don't buy red cars. So it's a bit of a tough one, always having a red car in stock. However, I think, to be honest, it won't make much difference on this because it's going to be priced really sensibly. Once you put a new clutch in that, I mean, it's probably going to be somewhere in the reams of £3,600–3,700 territory. It's the first actual DS3 I've retailed, believe it or not, because these are quite difficult to buy normally. These are, tricky cars. They're almost like trying to buy Vauxhall Adams. They're a bit quirky, and they say they just seem to hold the money quite well. You can find the odd bargain, usually when they're trashed, but to find one that's half right, and actually I don't use a clutch, but from a cosmetic perspective, other than needing a light putting in it, on the bodywork, that's really all he's doing. It's actually not a dear car. I say, the time that he's done, we'll have a really decent margin out of that. We've got to do a bit of work because the clutch is not the nicest job to do on these, but we'll have a nice margin out of that. So I'm looking forward to get that one on sale. We're going to have to put cam and water pump on that. 1.6 diesels, really common on this engine. This engine ran from around 2010 up to about 15-16 plate. It was actually a continuation of a previous engine they made, but this later one really does suffer badly with cam belt failure. So you don't risk the belts on these. If they don't like being overdue, basically. So I'm not saying they're like ones that will prone to go early, but if they're, I can't remember when these are due. I think they're due every 70,000 miles. I think if you've got one of these at 80–90,000 miles on, and you've never changed the belt, you're in serious trouble. Get it changed quickly, because if they snap on you, you're in, well, it's good night Vienna. So anyway, we'll get that done as well, and then we've got to get onto this little 107, which I've neglected. This has been with me now for about a fortnight, and I've not touched it. Have got the bits to do it. This is one to clean up, and then we can get it on sale and brighten it up a bit. So we'll get onto them next week. I've got another red one there as well, which is a really cheap one, which I had painted as well, all the bumpers done, and I need to put a steering rack on it, which is arriving on Monday. I've ordered a used rack from a breaker, a friend of mine, to put that on just to make that a little cheapy, probably the cheapest one we're ever going to sell. But they say we've got loads to get on with. I've got an Astra there as well, keep forgetting about this. I've got every single bit for this. This was a little 60,000 mile Vauxhall Astra, and I've got all the mirror caps for it painted. I've got all the covers I need, or covers are leaking, like over Astra, oil cooler, I've got everything for it to do it. Cam belt, water pump kit, I've got the whole lot. And it doesn't owe me a lot of money, but I'm going to throw a couple £100 worth of parts on it and make it a real solid car with 65 on that someone can buy for probably, what, 17.95 territory, somewhere like that, which I think is quite cheap with 65 on, and we'll make it a car again. Doesn't look like it now, but trust me, come back to that in a few weeks, it'll be a little Bobby Dazzler. Right, sun's going down now. Actually, before we go inside, this little Alto, do you know what, this is the reason why I need full-time videographer, because I just don't have the time to film stuff, because this would have probably made a good little video in itself. So I need to get onto that, because unfortunately my recent attempt at trying to hire someone has been a little bit disappointing, I have to say. The applications have not been the best. But anyway, let me tell you about this car, whittling on. Suzuki Alto. Now, it ain't the best, I'll be honest with you, it was rough, but I see sometimes the potential of some vehicles. Now, as you can see, it's not looking nice. It's not been polished or buffed or anything like that. It's got horrible wheel trims on, and when it arrived, the interior was horrendous. Now, I haven't got a picture of it, but imagine an interior that's really dirty and all worn out and sort of like like someone's been, how can I put it politely? Someone very large has been sitting in the driver's seat. That's a nice way of putting it. And it just was a mess. But I got it at really cheap money. I think I gave about £400 or £500 for it. And it's 63 plate, done about 109,000 miles I think it's done, and it runs and drives fine, but it was just a smelly car inside and had a bad interior. So I decided that, do you know what, actually underneath that we can make a car out of this. So I ripped the interior out, and then we got another interior from a breakers. Actually, full enough, we meant to drop a car off a few weeks ago from Derby, and we picked an interior up on the way back through. It was only about £100, and then we say that interior is actually inside at the moment, but we've started then the process of getting it all apart, and then we've basically shampooed all the floor carpets, give it the first going over, done the first go of the roof line. It wants doing again. We've got rid of the smell of it, because it did smell horrible and musty. Put one of our little ozone machines in, which you can see an example of here. They're great, they are. For anyone who's got a car that stinks of smoke, or has got pet smells, or general musty smell like this one had, you just wet that machine in, put that in there, and literally it will kill any smell. It's absolutely brilliant. They're not dear either, they're only like 30-40 quid. Brilliant little machines, but they're ideal for stuff like this. So we put that in, and then we've now just started the process of starting to rebuild it back up. I've ordered a ruck of stuff for it, like it had a broken door handle on the driver's side. Ordered that, £10 brand new from Suzuki. I've ordered some speakers, because for some reason someone's pinched them, so I've put them in. I've ordered a gear stick gator, that was about 10 quid. I've got a new sets of mats to go in as well, they're in there. And we're going to build it all back up with the door cards and stuff, and put all the new seats in. So the car end up owing, when it's done, probably about £650. Doesn't require any paint. It wants mopping over, really desperately wants mopping over, because it's got little marks over it, and then touch-ups that someone have done, which are really, just not very good. And they actually come out, the touch-ups. I've actually did a little test patch on an area, which again, I haven't filmed it to show you, but before this panel here looked horrendous. It looked like someone had got the paintbrush out, and they're going like this all over the place, and it all just come off, and then literally just buffed it over, a little bit of flat and buff, with a little bit of paint rubbed in, and just flat buffed it off, and it come up really, really well. So I'm going to do the whole car like that, put a new set of wheel trims on, which I've got in there as well, new interior in, sort of like bits on the door there, like someone glued the door handle. That's a new door handle we put on it, but they glued it, and then it's all ran down the door. It'll come off, but it's just tar and glue. All that will come off, that doesn't phase us. The bodywork will get right. And at the end of it, we'll have a 63 plate Alto, which will be like a little 1995 car. I like stuff like that, saving stuff like this, because this was probably on the way to the scrapyard. In fact, I'll be honest with you, it was on the way to the scrapyard, because I bought it off a guy who predominantly buys breaker vehicles and scrap vehicles, and occasionally he will throw stuff my way that he thinks there's a bit of life left in, and he's spot on with that. It drives fine, there's life left in it. It just wanted a little bit of love and attention. So we'll come back to that in another video. I know you probably can't see it now. Hold your judgment until I've got it all done, and you'll see it'll turn into a nice little cheap car for someone that someone can get a few more years out of. And again that'll be what, 20 quid tax, and it'll probably do another, what, 30-40,000 miles easy, just cheap running around for someone. See, it's little old cars like that, that's the reason why I love this game, is taking something like that otherwise probably would have been disposed of and giving it a new lease of life for very little money. They say we've probably spent a couple £100 on that, and they say once it's finished, and we'll obviously show you what it's finished like next week, and we can create, well, obviously some profit for the business out of it, and obviously a smile on my face, but hopefully a good car that someone can actually use for a fair few years and get some use out of, and save a bit of money, a bit of cheap motoring, and a reliable motoring. So that's what I love about the cheapy stuff. Anyway, moving on to next week, and I can't wait for next week, because it'll mean then that by that point I would have got all these sold cars, these 4 or 5 that are due out, gone, hopefully, out to the customers. And we can get a little bit of space back in the yard and then focus on the rest of the month in i.e. getting some new cars or stock you've just seen there, plus some others as well which are not even on site yet, actually on sale, and try and get some bums on seats. That's the idea, because at the moment actually we're not doing too bad. We're on about, I think we're about 6 or 7 for the month. We like to do about between 15 and 20, but we are going to pick up pace next week because otherwise we'll fall behind. And see, March is usually a good month in the trade, so I've got to make sure we hit those targets, because if we don't hit the targets we don't make any money. Plus, there's another big week next week, because on Monday night, the draw happens as well for the Car UK Raffle for the Mini, or the MICRA, or the cash prize. So obviously, the lucky winner, I'm going to have to make sure we get in touch with those, whoever that lucky person will be, and obviously arrange to get that sorted, get them up here and collect the car or winnings or whatever they're going to be having. Got to box off the money for charity as well, because we've got a few good causes, which I'll tell you about next week when we donate the money and talk to you about why I chose those charities as well. And then have a think about what we're going to be doing next. We'll see what happens with prizes this time round, and then think about what we could do next. I have got a couple of ideas for another raffle as well, but I'll say we'll talk more about that next week. But hopefully things should start to turn a corner next week and I can de-stress a little, whole being well. So make sure you join me on that journey next week, and the way to do that is to check out our latest content, and the best way to do that is by liking and subscribing to the channel, so make sure you don't miss any of my videos. So thank you again for watching this one. Don't forget about the raffle. If I've not mentioned it enough times already, the link is in the description, or you've got the QR code on screen now. Either scan that QR code or get yourself in the link description and get your tickets, because you've only literally got a few days left to go. Thanks very much for watching this one, and I'll see you all in the next one.